Trisha Meili was a common girl who sought solace in the beauty of nature, the freedom that comes with pushing our physical boundaries. On that fateful April evening in 1989, her world collided with a nightmare, forever altering the course of her life. The park's serenity was shattered as darkness descended, and Trisha unknowingly stepped into a web of malevolence. Today, we embark on a deeply unsettling journey as we delve into the harrowing story of Trisha Meili, a story that will test the limits of our emotions. On April 19, 1989, in the heart of Manhattan's Central Park, chaos reigned supreme. Dozens of teenagers roamed the park's shadowy paths, wreaking havoc and inflicting pain on unsuspecting victims. Reports of muggings and physical assaults flooded in, casting an ominous cloud over this once serene sanctuary. Little did anyone know that this night would forever change the lives of many, and the scars it left would run deep. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a group of teenagers, estimated to be between 20 and 32 in number, entered Central Park near Harlem's entrance. What started as a night of thrill-seeking and mischievous adventure quickly spiraled into a nightmare. They assaulted, robbed, and terrorized those who had the misfortune of crossing their path. The park's Northwoods, between 102nd and 105th Street, became a hunting ground for these young perpetrators. Cyclists were attacked, a cab was bombarded with rocks, and pedestrians were ruthlessly assaulted, robbed of their belongings, and left unconscious. The atmosphere was charged with an air of lawlessness and danger. It was within this darkened realm that forever changed the lives of 6 innocent victims. This disturbing story of injustice will leave you second-guessing the same officers that are sworn to protect us. As the night wore on, a more sinister chapter unfolded as the chaos reached a crescendo around the park's reservoir. Trisha Meili, a 29-year-old woman, set out for her regular run in Central Park that fateful evening. Little did she know that her peaceful exercise would morph into a nightmare beyond imagination. As Trisha jogged through the park, her life took a detour into darkness. Knocked down, dragged off the roadway, and subjected to a nightmarish physical assault, Trisha Meili's life was forever shattered. Her body, found hours later, told a tale of unspeakable horror. The brutality she endured was beyond comprehension. The first officer who discovered Trisha said the sight before him was one of utter devastation. She was beaten beyond recognition, as if her assailants had unleashed all their demons upon her fragile form. Trisha's injuries were so severe that she slipped into a coma for 12 days. Her body, broken and battered, bore the indelible scars of a night that defied comprehension. The city was thrust into chaos. A hunt for the perpetrator ensued, and amidst the fear and uncertainty, the Central Park Five emerged as suspects. Raymond Santana, Kevin Richardson, Yusef Salaam, Antron McCrae, and Corey Wise, all innocent young men whose lives would be forever altered by a system designed against them. The Central Park Five faced a trial that would shatter their innocence and condemn them to a living nightmare. Little did they know that the true monster was hiding among them, his guilt hidden beneath a facade of lies and deceit. The truth would remain concealed for years while the lives of these young men hung in the balance. Let me take you back to a time of fear and uncertainty, a time when Trisha Meili's assaults sent shockwaves through the nation. But what if I told you that the wrong men were held responsible for this heinous crime? What if I told you that the true perpetrator had been hiding in plain sight all along? Enter Matias Reyes, the man whose sickening confession would expose the tragic injustice that befell the Central Park Five. As the story would soon tell, Matias Reyes was no stranger to darkness. Born in Fajardo, Puerto Rico in 1971, he was brought to the bustling streets of New York City at a tender age. But a broken system would fail a young Matias Reyes as well. His early years were marked by trauma, a violent sexual assault to the hands of older boys, a chilling act that nearly claimed his young life. Scarred and tormented, Reyes's path was paved with violence and despair. As Reyes grew older, his violent tendencies became more prominent. Troubled and disconnected, he roamed the streets, his actions leaving a trail of fear and pain in their wake. Petty theft, public disturbances, and an insatiable craving for cocaine became the hallmarks of his existence, a life steeped in darkness. In 1988, at the age of 17, Reyes unleashed his wrath upon an unsuspecting victim, Jackie Herback. In a chilling display of brutality, he assaulted and robbed her, leaving her battered and traumatized. This was just the beginning of a reign of terror that would grip the city, casting a shadow over its inhabitants. Reyes continued his spree of violence, leaving a trail of shattered lives in his wake. But it was on that fateful night of April 17, 1989, that he committed an act so depraved, so heinous, that it would forever alter the lives of those involved. In the depths of Central Park, he found his next victim, an innocent woman practicing Tai Chi, her serenity shattered by the darkness that consumed him. With cold, calculated precision, Reyes pounced on his victim, unleashing an unimaginable torrent of violence. The woman cried out for help, but Reyes remained undeterred, driven by his insatiable hunger for control and dominance. The attack was swift, brutal, and left permanent scars, both physically and emotionally. In July 1989, Amanda Isley, a young artist, fell victim to Reyes's violent tendencies. Unaware of the danger that awaited her, Amanda encountered Reyes in her own home. He held her captive, terrorizing her with a knife and subjecting her to repeated acts of violence. Bound by her wrists with a telephone cord, Amanda endured unimaginable suffering as Reyes stole her belongings and threatened her life. Despite the immense trauma she endured, Amanda summoned the courage to call for help, ultimately escaping his clutches. Reyes continued his spree of violence, targeting unsuspecting victims. In July of the same year, he threatened another woman, robbing her of her belongings. His criminal behavior escalated further in August when he broke into Meg's apartment, a young woman working in the fashion industry. Cornered and under constant threat, Meg was subjected to an assault that left her physically and emotionally scarred. Through her quick thinking and bravery, Meg managed to escape and raise the alarm, leading to Reyes' capture. Little did we know, we were just beginning to uncover the pure terror Reyes inflicted on this haunting city. It was the collective bravery and resilience of these victims, along with the vigilance of witnesses and law enforcement, that ultimately brought Reyes to justice. Following his arrest, additional women came forward, sharing their accounts of Reyes' violent acts. The evidence against him became overwhelming, and Reyes was convicted for his heinous crimes. The arrest and conviction of Matias Reyes not only served to bring closure to his victims, but also had far-reaching implications for the Central Park Five. It was on that fateful night of April 19, 1989, that Reyes forever etched his name in infamy. Trisha Meili, a vibrant young woman enjoying a jog through Central Park, fell victim to his insidious intentions. The details of that night are too gruesome to recount in full, but know this: the darkness that befell Trisha Meili was unimaginable. Reyes stripped her of her dignity and violated her in the most heinous of ways. Trisha's body, covered in mud and blood, bore the indelible marks of a savage encounter. a testament to the depths of human depravity. The scene was a nightmare come to life, a chilling tableau of unimaginable horror. Her once vibrant spirit, now extinguished, lay amidst the gruesome aftermath. Her battered form told a tale of unspeakable violence, the result of a relentless assault that defied comprehension. The darkened depths of Central Park became the stage for this macabre act, where evil found its playground and claimed a life in the most despicable way imaginable. The wheels of justice turned slowly but inexorably, and as the years passed, the truth surrounding the Central Park Five began to unravel. It was in 2002, over a decade after their wrongful convictions, that the darkness surrounding their case began to dissipate. Matias Reyes, the true perpetrator, haunted by the weight of his deeds, made a shocking confession. He came forward, admitting his guilt in the case of Trisha Meili, the very crime of which the Central Park Five had been unjustly accused. His revelation pierced through the veil of lies and deceit that had shrouded their lives for far too long. With Reyes' confession, the floodgates of truth were opened, and the evidence that had been buried beneath layers of injustice and prejudice finally came to light. DNA evidence conclusively linked Reyes to the crime scene, while also exonerating the Central Park Five. Their long-awaited freedom came in 2002, when their convictions were vacated. It was a bittersweet moment, a taste of vindication mingled with the residue of lost years, stolen opportunities, and shattered lives. The Central Park Five, now known as the Exonerated Five, stepped out of the shadows of wrongful incarceration, and their innocence was finally acknowledged. But the scars left behind, both physical and emotional, served as a stark reminder of the price they paid for a crime they did not commit, and the cloud of discrimination consuming New York City. In the aftermath of Reyes' confession and the subsequent overturning of their convictions, the truth of their innocence became a rallying cry for justice reform. The case of the Central Park Five exposed the deep-rooted flaws and systemic biases within the criminal justice system, igniting a nationwide conversation about racial profiling, discrimination, and the urgent need for change. But the question remains, has today's society shed its skin of discrimination, or is it silently lurking in the shadows, patiently waiting for its next unsuspecting victim?